Hello and welcome to another free code session. My name is Jason Bach and I'm going to do a couple of hopefully short things in dub sharp, which means it'll take 3 episodes. So I actually added a couple of, I've again caught up to all of Immo's videos for Minsk. So there is now a, what is the word I'm looking for? Because it's the morning and my brain is not working. Added in trivia, added in comments, which is something that you didn't see in, what I didn't see in the few examples of whenever that I found. But now this is actually legal. Of course, there's no colorization because Visual Studio doesn't know what a WS file is. But you can put that in there, and this just tells you, hey, if you want to make 99 bottles of beer on the wall, 9 bottles of beer, well, then you would just make the changes in the line accordingly. But this is kind of nice because yeah, you can put comments within lines, you can do all that stuff. So you know, that was kind of nice to add. And then this also now supports trivia. So the syntax tree has trivia everywhere. So everything now is, you know, you don't drop trivia on the floor anymore, you capture all of it. And I don't quite understand what I did in some cases. I just kind of followed what Immo was doing, but it's kind of cool that this is all captured there. So I have thought of, in fact, I should put that in as a issue, is to add some form of colorization. I didn't like, and I don't like the way Immo does it, in that it keeps looking at the type of the text writer that's given, and if it's the same as console out, we'll then go to change console. What I'd rather do is say, you know, somehow say, write this, you know, abstract that away somehow. I don't know how. Or either just be explicit to say, I'm talking to console out. I mean, if that's the only thing I'm really talking to, then just do that. I don't know. Because it is a little hard. It's all gray now. I don't want to create the REPL so that it's as complicated as what he has it. And I don't mean that in a bad way. It's just I don't really need a fancy REPL text editor for this. It's just not needed. So at least I don't find a great desire to do that. But in any event, that's where we are now, and there's a couple of other things I want to just clear off the table for this, so that's what I'm going to try to do this morning. Let's see, what's the first one? Oh yeah, this consider removing exists. So I'll just bring this over here so you can see it real quick. That's the one that I'm talking about. I thought about this, I closed it, I opened it up again because I didn't want to just leave it alone. I thought about it kind of off and on throughout the day yesterday, and while I was working out, I finally realized what I really want to do is I don't want to get rid of exists here. I don't want to just have 4 there, because again, it just gets, to me, obviously you can do it, code that's been written and other interpreters did it. I just think it's kind of the special case where if you have a literal integer there that you suddenly can, what you really meant is you're calling E on it, or that's what I'm getting at. I'll explain that in a moment. You're calling exists, which of course you can say, well, you parse this, you know, you parse this with the pound, why can't you do that up there? And again, I could, but it kind of, what I realized last night is, well, we're doing this, you're getting the number of lines here, there's a U as well. Why don't we just make this E? And then it seemed to be a little bit more in the spirit of what you can actually do in dub sharp. You know, if we go to here, that instead of, you know, if we have an N, we have a U, why don't we make this an E? And so that's the change I'm going to make. And then I'm going to leave it alone. Okay, you have to basically call E, and that tells you if the line number that you're giving exists or not. Okay, so this is 15, so we're going to make it 15, chain, does line exist to E. All right, so first things first, what we're going to do is say E. And again, I don't have to change it here. I could just leave that alone, but in the sense that the code could say exists, this is still E, but I want it to be consistent everywhere. Okay, so that should be good there and good there. Now in the compiler though, I think maybe in the emitter, I don't think it matters until I get to symbols, like built-in functions. What we're looking for is E. And so, where is it all being referenced? If functions is E. Okay. That got changed there. And that's the evaluator. Okay. Just run all tests to see if that passes or not. And they all do pass, so that's good. Now the thing is, though, I got to come up here and ignore my cat howling in the background. Yeah, I hear ya. So we're going to change anywhere we have exists to E. Okay. Hello world, I don't think I do that in there. 99 bottles. Do the same thing. And no. And that and that. Okay, so let's run all of these. Except the Fibonacci, we gotta leave that for, that comes last. So we're gonna do it for the evaluator first, and then I gotta go through the rigmarole of actually compiling them to see if the emitted IL is going to be fine. Oh, that worked right. Okay. Let's do 99 bottles. That works. The rot 13 really doesn't, so I'm going to ignore that. No. Hello, hello. Come on. Type. Hello, hello. Now I'll do this one. And that works. Okay, so that all works. And these simple ones here, I don't think are, like, they were there for a specific testing purpose, but I don't really need them anymore, so we're going to delete those, because those are, hello world is simple enough. Okay. Alrighty. Now I got to go into, I really should start using the new Windows terminal that got released because build just happened. So I should just make that my default go-to and make sure that's all set up correctly and just start getting used to the command line, because apparently the command line is what every developer should do. You should never even use an IDE. You shouldn't even use Notepad. You should use nothing. Just do everything within your terminal. That's it. I was being a little facetious there. Okay, how did I do this? How did I do this? I forgot. Oh, was it in samples? I think that's right. I should put this in the README if I haven't already. You know what? If you'd like to compile whenever programs, navigate to the samples playground directory and run. I think it's .NET run. Oh, huh, that's good. Good to know. We should probably do that. Yeah, let's do that. I hadn't done that in a while. And dub sharp. So I think what I really care about here is, no, not that. I am doing stuff with rocks again. Not that. This? Yeah, that should be now 1, 5. Okay, let's try it again. If this doesn't work, then I've got bigger problems. Darn it. Oh, well, yeah, I guess if I change what the code is supposed to do. There we go. Okay. One more time with feeling. And there we go. Okay. And then let's do the old IL spy-ish thing just to see what this looks like. We've got all of our lines. For actions of E. Yep, okay. It all looks good. Alrighty, so we'll just make sure that we got that updated. This will compile whatever is in at some point the compilation but that's what works for now. Okay. Alrighty, so I think that takes care of that one. So let's go over here and do this. 15. Updated to E. Alright, so we got that. Come back here. Merge into current branch. That. Merge. The dance. Push in the origin. And come back here, branch, delete, yes, delete, come over here. Such a fun dance. Yeah, now we're closing the issue. We're good. We are good. Okay, so let me look at the other one I wanted to do real quick, because it's constant folding. So one of the things that I did follow in one of Vimo's videos was the ability to kind of capture constants. So if you have a literal value, what is the literal value? But the point of it is in some cases to remove dead code or make some optimizations. You know, like if you have true or false, the other one doesn't matter, you know it's true, so you can just go off the true. But he never actually did something where you do, or in my case, if I had like n of 2 plus 3, well, you know that's 5. There's no reason to omit a literal 2, a literal 3 on the stack, and then put an add instruction. Just put in a 5 and you're done. So somebody noticed that and gave him a pull request to change that. And he accepted it, and there's two changes in here. So that's what I'm looking at right now. Is the thing is what is in Minsk and what I have are not necessarily the same things. So I have to be a little careful. I want to read this a little closer and understand what this does. So that's in the evaluator. That's in the, so he's putting it in the emitter and then he puts it in the evaluator. Okay. And so what he's basically doing is checking to see. Here, I'll just pull this over so you can see what I'm getting. Why not? Why am I? This doesn't matter. So sometimes I have things over the side just because I feel like it's noise to have on the screen, but in this case I think it matters. So basically pulling up, if you have a literal expression, it means you, in all likelihood, probably have a constant value. So make sure that, and this check will be is. Actually now, in C#9, they added is not, not. So you can actually say if node.constant value is not null. And that, to me, some people, I think, have complained, it looks too much like VB, whatever. It reads much better. Because is null is correct. You actually don't want to compare against null with equals or not equals, because those can be overridden by a type. Those operators can be overridden, and they may not technically do what you think they should do. So is literally checking against null, which is the right thing to do. The way to, is null. If you want to check to say if it's not null, you can do this pattern matching thing, which you may have seen me do before, which is curly brace. And that I found from Jared Parsons on the Microsoft team, because it's doing, I think, what it's called a property pattern match. And so that wouldn't work if it was null. But if it was not null, well, you're not matching against any property. You're just saying it had to not be null for this to actually work, I guess. I'm not explaining this right. But that's a legit test for not null. I'm going to change that to is not null everywhere once C#9 comes out, because I think that's very, very clean. So in any event, I'm babbling. So he pulls that up. He then, in this new function, emit constant expression. I'll have to probably change these for what I need to do. And then he does the same thing down in the evaluator. So I think this is doable. I think we can put this in the about 10 minutes left that I have. Okay, so let's come back over here. We have 23 as ours. Use constant folding. And this only matters when you actually get to emitting code or evaluating code. Everything stays the same until you get to that point. So if we come into our code here, let's close that out. I want to do the emitter first, because that to me is more important. The evaluator kind of needs to go away. It needs to actually use the emitter, is what I think Emil said the same thing. It needs to actually, instead of having two ways to interpret code, have one way, and that's the right way to do it. Okay, so in the emitter, in the emit expression. So I have that. That's kind of interesting. I want to look at something here first, because again, the way Minsk does things is not necessarily the same way I do things, because it's different code. Fine, emit expression. I don't think I missed the, yeah, he's doing string concat, which I could do as well, I guess, that way. There we go. Yeah, so there's a whole bunch of them in here. And what he does is this emit constant expression that he pulls out. Okay, so we will do the same thing. Actually, let's just kind of and then there's no longer an emit literal expression, really. Find emit literal. Yeah, that goes away. Okay. Got it. Okay. So do we have an emit literal expression? Yes. So that's going to go away. Find emit literal. That's going to go away as well. Well, no. Okay, what we can do is sort of cheat. We can make this now emit constant expression. We take the bound expression. Okay. And then we look at type Boolean. We get the node. No, come on. Oh, this is now node. It might have been just easier to do it the other way, but that's fine. Constant value. And now we have to say, though, that it is that value. Okay. So node type is that we do that. And now at the node, current block. There we go. Okay, so now if the node type is integer, we're going to pull out the constant value like that. Because if we emit a big integer, we have our own special way of handling integers. And then if we look at string, it's just node constant value. Okay, and then up in emit expression, we need to do that special check that was put in there, which is something like this, which for us is expression, that constant value, put that in there, and we use this. And our order is different. Okay. And yeah, it's 6 1/2 dozen of the other. All right, cool. Now we need to go in the evaluator and basically do the same thing. I can see where this is getting to be a pain in the butt because it is. And we'll come back and review it again. All right, so evaluate expression. Yeah, we can't do this anymore. Well, we can. Could we? Node switch. We're switching on the node. Screw it. If node.constant value is, in other words, we have a value, right? We're going to return this dot evaluate literal expression, evaluate literal, oh, it's not. Node, right? Because that's what he's passing in. Yes. Okay. Else, I wish this had a folded up, but it doesn't. Okay. And so literal expression now becomes constant expression, and this is now a bound expression, and this returns literal.constant value, bang. I wonder how, if I look at the, I wonder if this hasn't been merged yet. Because how would you know that constant value? Oh, he's asserting it. Okay. Yeah. Okay. That's fine. Either way. I don't like putting debug asserts in. It's just Okay, so let's go through this again. If it's, I did the wrong thing there, is that, and then we're going to make a constant expression, otherwise we do this, and we no longer have a literal there. So if we go to the constant expression, we should see that, yeah, we just are pulling it from a different place now. Okay. And then in the evaluator, it's now constant value. Who's calling this? Bull. Somebody better be calling this. I just changed this. Oh, yeah. Oh. See? And it knew exactly what I wanted to do. That was a little creepy. And this now goes away, right? Because you don't call it within your list. Okay. All right, so first run all tests. Not that this was our test cover or anything, because we actually need to have tests that cover a lot more stuff than what we're doing. I should put that string concatenation thing in there that he does as well. Put that. I won't do that in this one. I'm just going to put that in as a, in fact, before I forget. Let's go into new issue. Add string concatenation to emitter. And you'll bark at me if I leave the... Alright, so let's do... We're going to go all routes. We're going to go 99 bottles. Okay, I'm going to run that. Run file. That should work. Fibonacci sequence should work. Run file. Oh, sometimes grab the wrong one. Run file, that works. Okay, let's go to developer command prompt. LVMs, personal code, dub sharp, samples, playground, except close. So this time we're going to do something different. We're actually going to use my commenting thing. Okay, so we're going to say one print the string of 2 plus 3 plus 5. Should that work? Let's see. .NET run. So we should hope to see 2 plus 3 5, 4 is 9? No, 10. If this all works. And then we should look at the emitted IL and see what it did. Okay, so we got 10. Let's see what we get over here. 10. Perfect. That's exactly what I wanted to see. Awesome. So we are no longer emitting 2 plus 3, 5, and then 5 plus 5 is 10. We don't need to. We know that we have constant folding. Absolutely perfect. All right. So I'm actually going to stop here because I'm close to time. I'll put that new thing in for a feature, do that maybe off camera. The one thing I also want to talk about real briefly is I mentioned that I have some stuff for rocks on the horizon. And that is over here. Yes. Okay. So if I'll pull this over in just a second. There we go. Okay. So I took off the .NET Core stuff because that's no longer a specific thing. I think rocks just targets, is it standard 2.1? I don't remember. But point is, I'm starting to put together my notes for source generator. So this is probably going to be the next thing I'm going to be just doing some experimentation with, which is, you can see here what I want to do is start generating extension methods off the rock, or the mock. So instead of doing this, you end up doing this. And if you have a literal value, you can just do that, because the generated extension method is going to look something like this, and argument expectation will have implicit conversions. So that will just work. I'm not sure if this is the right thing to do or not, but the point is that once you write this line of code here, what I'd like to do is be able to catch that generate the mock and generate these extension methods and get rid of all these ones that are using expression of action and func and all this other crap. I want to get rid of all that and make this much more succinct and easier to understand, that you'll literally see handle do something. And all of them will be generated for other methods. We'll handle the properties and the events in a similar fashion. I think this will make it much, much cleaner. At runtime, there will be no mock generation. The intention is that the generated mock type, as soon as you write this, if I can detect that, then I'll have that mock generated as a private type within the class that I have with all the extension methods, although I don't know if I can do that. I don't know if you can have private classes within a static class. I don't know if you can do that. If I say, I haven't committed this yet, so that's fine. If I say public static class A, can I have a private class B? Will it let me do that? Yeah. That's perfect, because then you can't get to the actual the mock type that I'm generating in any way, or in any easy way. And then the mock method, or the make method, I should say, is going to know how to actually create an instance of that. So, yeah, I think this might be cleaner. It might be a little bit harder, now I think about it, because these are static methods that are extension methods. So how do you roll up all the expectations? Right now, I have a way to do that where there's basically an object that comes along with the RI packages it all up, and then when you say make, it passes that into the mock. So yeah, I haven't thought about that. Again, this is all just thoughts. As I'm talking through this, I'm realizing what might or might not work. But I wanted to have this in there because I think this would be a huge thing. The problem with the other mocking libraries is because they're all using IL. Well, you could generate the mock, I guess, through IL and somehow say that would, I don't know, maybe you can, but because the whole basis of rocks is that you're generating source code, why not generate it now? There's all these cases, though, as I'm talking, that I have to work through. Like when you write this code, I'd love to be able to detect that so that the extension methods are available right away. You don't have to compile and wait and then do it again. If you ever put this somewhere else in your code, if I've already generated the mock, don't do it again. Don't do the extension methods. There's no reason to. If you change iService, if I've already created a mock for it, I need to regenerate the mock and potentially regenerate all the extension methods, because that might all change. And that becomes problematic too, because if you change a method or member on these interfaces, and I've created a mock, a refactor isn't going to detect the handle XYZ things that I've created. Those won't be. So those you'd have to go back and manually change, which might be a pain in the butt. That's the one thing about the current way that I do it, is that it does capture those in a refactoring. So maybe I don't. Now I like that I'm talking through this, because I'm going to put just some notes here. How do I capture expectations done with handle ... when I get to make? And then what was the other one I just talked about? If the extension methods are handle ... and someone changes, well, even if they would, it's not going to change it there. So never mind. I don't have a chance. If somebody would change foo on, or service, like if they change do something on iService to do it, even if I change the extension method to just be do something, that refactoring is going to have no idea about the source generated code that I did. So then you'd have to manually go in and change all those. it's just an unfortunate approach from this. But unless I could hook into refactoring saying, hey, they wanted to change this symbol, so see if there's any way to hook into a F2 refactoring operation. And I highly doubt that you can. But at least it's worth investigating. Okay, I got the day job to do, so yeah, I think I'm happy though. So I'm going to commit all this stuff, put this new thing in, and somewhere down the line in the future I will start doing Rox things again because I really want to work on this. I think doing the source generation stuff will be a lot of fun. So thank you all for watching. Leave comments and questions below. See you in the next episode.